Okay. Oh, how do I do this? Start with a frog in my throat. This is the Phil Swallow channel, YouTube channel. This is a live stream. And no, it's not the normal podcast. It's an impromptu one. Just decided to go live. Got a couple of little updates, but as well as a frog in my throat. Maybe it's because I've just eaten my food. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to chat and we'll see what happens. I am going to put something in the comments. Hi. Have you seen this? I've just added something to the chat. Oh, I've got a little notification to say that someone has joined. Please say hello in the chat, and we'll see if we can get some numbers going. I've done this a few times on and off. Just decided to go live. And we got a like, even better. So that's for reading later. I might even, can I favourite this or something? I put a little marker by it, but it's basically a little cup final thing that I did, a little story of my cup final day, and it got published. Oh, we've got a few more people. Hello, Guy. How you doing? So yeah, there's again, no agenda here. Just come on and ask a question, or we'll have a chat, and we'll see how it goes. Hi Phil, lovely to see you again. And hi Phil. Yeah, lovely to see you all. Or I see your usernames, you see, this is a thing. Lots of usernames, don't necessarily know your names. I'm guessing Guy is called Guy. So, but that's fine. It's what it is. It's what the world of social media is all about. I had this pretty bad cold the other week, and I was not going to go out and record a video, A, because I didn't feel like it, B, because it would have just sounded horribly nasal, and you know what it's like. And I thought that then it's on there forever, well, for however long YouTube will be with us. So I decided that I would delay it. Do you know, I felt so rough, I didn't even feel like doing research, but that kind of went. Research happened. I was out filming yesterday. I'm editing when I get time, but we're also going to pop away for a few days soon, so it depends whether I get the chance. Am I watching tennis? No, I'm not watching tennis. That will be Queen's, and it's the men's tournament, isn't it, this week? I must admit, I thought I would do this. I would just jump on live now, because it's that weird time of the year when there's not really a whole lot on TV. Obviously Wimbledon hasn't started yet. There's the odd, cricket or whatever on TV. But I thought, I don't know, sometimes it can get a bit boring, so there's always stuff to watch, stuff on the planner. We've been watching that Gold series about the Brinks-Matt robbery, which is quite a good drama. Right, what else we got here? Right, so I'm going to add this up to the little chat. Didn't get to see you at All Saints Outward Talk. However, I'm sure I shall meet you again in the future. Yeah, because we had a chat, didn't we, prior to that? Talk went down well. I haven't been asked to do it again yet, but I hope to. Hi, Julie. Nice to see you on. I was asked by a friend. I've done just two articles thus far for the Sanderstead Residents Association magazine, and I've got to do another one, deadline early July. I think I know what I'm going to do. It's basically anything Sanderstead and Hamsey Greeny. So Glastonbury, so they've started doing the ads for Glastonbury. 2 weeks time, is it? Weekend after next. So that's that. Yeah, Wimbledon is, I think, does Wimbledon then start the same weekend that Glastonbury starts? Wimbledon starts on a Monday. I don't know. But it's always roughly last week of June, first week of July. And whilst I do say that I won't mention Crystal Palace too much, you might notice the backdrop has got some features. I mean, this is where I try and get the angles right. Obviously, shirt hanging up on the door. Piece of wall art my son got me for Father's Day, and then there's there is basically a kind of snapshot of the stats of the game that my daughter got me. So that's a nice little memento here. But this won't become a Palace show. You'll be pleased to hear. So, what else has been going on? Helped out for someone giving a talk last week. Oh, we went for a walk on Farthing Down. That was good, with the Bourne Society. Tom Oliver, one of the rangers there. Well, he's in the video that I did about Farthing Downs in 2022. And Tom led the talk, and it was an amble. Really, it wasn't a big, energetic walk, but it was really nice. Before the weather has got too harsh, and so that was good fun. Had a good look around there, and then I was out again in the evening. It was a busy day. Wimbledon starts 30th of June, first 2 weeks of July this year. Okay, so a little bit later. Put that up there. Probably going to do my June podcast on the 30th of June, that evening. So, I mean, early days, there's matches are going to be all sorts, I guess. So, I just a question. Do you guys just sort of get a notification on your phone to say that I'm live? Is that how this works? I mean, that's how it should work. I know sometimes I might get a notification, other times for other people. Other times I might just pick up my phone doing stuff and just notice when I'm on YouTube that someone else is live. So, but anyway, whatever it is, it is. So, yes. But yeah, the weather's lovely. We did have a little wobble, didn't we, with a bit of rain. I did loads of work on the lawn last year and put a lot of water down to help seeds and all that sort of stuff. But this year, because it just didn't really start very well, and I thought I'm going to be fighting a losing battle this year. So I'm going to try and manage the lawn as best I can, but, not stress it too much. It normally does recover quite well. Oh, you got a notification. Right, cool. I've got to make sure that there's on this chat window that I have, which I think it is different to what YouTube provides. There's an option to add to broadcast. It just popped up on your iPad. Add to broadcast, and right next to it is ban. Let's make sure I hit the right one. I'll talk about my Spitfire tour or Heritage Hangar tour in the podcast more. But that did remind me, one little snippet. They were talking about the controls of a Spitfire, and on the right-hand side of the pilot, there are two levers. One is the throttle, and one is the engine kill switch. And he said, we always look down to make sure we got our hands on the right one. I mean, it's kind of, I suppose one's giving fuel, one's going to take out any fuel. But that was quite interesting, the positioning of it. Right, I'm going to put this up. Off subject, have I met Jason Perry or any of the previous mayors? And do they know of or support or champion your work? Did you get involved in or attend the Whitgift Foundation history? I met Jason once when I did some photography for the proclamation, the King Charles proclamation in 2022. When I say met, we had a chat it wasn't really much. No, I mean, I don't know about that. I was someone else I was talking to the other day about promoting stuff in and around Croydon. I've not done that. I was quite pleased that our local little WhatsApp group did a promotion. I didn't ask them to, but they did. It was very kind of them to promote my work. So yeah, maybe I should. Events they did quite a few years ago now, Whitgift Foundation's history. No, I mean, I'm involved with the Croydon Natural History and Scientific Society, and they have a lot of events and a lot of history. They've been going 175 years now, something like that. So, they got a number of different connections because they cover history, local history, natural history and science. Mainly in the area, but sometimes it goes a little bit outside. So maybe it's something that they were involved in previously, the Whitgift Foundation. I have done something else today on membership. So I have a membership option for my channel. And what it does is enables you to, I suppose, help me to contribute to support what I do. And I kind of listed out some of the things, because you might say, well, what does that get me? Well, firstly, for less than a price of a frothy coffee, $1.99 a month. I've just designed some badges so that when your name comes up in comments, you get a little badge showing how long you've been with me. And I mean, it's only a tiny little thing, but it means something. We work through the range. I've done some emojis. I don't think they've been used yet. Hi, Mark. Good evening. I don't think the emojis have been used yet, but they are a feature. They feature my face. They're kind of animated, or as a still. Early access to new videos. So what I do is when I publish a video, there's an option to publish for members first, which I do. So members will always get early access to videos. Member shout outs. Yeah, obviously I do that wherever possible. Members only live chats. Well, we've only got a kind of fairly small number at the moment, but that is something I plan to do, is to have live streams, chats, members only, where we can help to kind of shape where I might want to go next. So maybe get some more direct feedback and suggestions. Priority reply to comments. Well, I always try and get back on comments very quickly anyway. And a couple of other things that I'm going to do soon is some, what they call it, BTS in the trade, behind the scenes clips. So things that might happen that wouldn't really be worthy of making their way into a final video, but they might just be, I don't know, maybe I'll fall over or something, I don't know, hopefully not, but you know, just little things that I might observe that happen when filming, and I'll share those on little clips and things, and maybe do some members only videos. So it's just something that a number of other channels do. It's just kind of an extra way of being part of the community, and as I say, a few people have signed up, which is very nice. And basically you just hit join and it will kind of give you a bit more detail. So that's memberships. You might wonder why join is on there, and probably at some point I'll do a little intro video just to help with that. So that was something I've been working on today. What else has been happening in the world? Actually, I don't want to talk about what's happening in the world. It's a bit of a disaster area. I often comment online about American politics, but crazy. I fear, and I feel for the American folk, because there's some very good people over there, but you know, you've got a crazy wannabe dictator running the country. So I mean, there's probably no country where you can say, yes, it's sweetness and light here and all the voting public are happy. But yeah, I often say to people, that's why I find I can bury myself in history, because it's something that it's happened. We can hopefully learn from it, but also enjoy it, particularly things like architecture that might still be around and stories that have been documented well. So I you know, I'm often buying up old books on eBay, and with the West Wickham, there's a brilliant author, Joyce Walker. And now Joyce may be quite old now, not sure. Hopefully she's still around. I don't know. I haven't managed to find out too much, but she's written about 4 or 5, or co-authored 4 or 5 books on West Wickham, and it's been fantastic for me to then learn about the subject and then go out and be able to present it to you. So I'm doing a series on West Wickham. So as I say, the first one will be coming out, well, as soon as I can get around to editing it. And then I'm going eastwards. So I got to White Lodge, and we touched on that roundabout West Wickham when I did the Shirley videos. So now it's just carry on and eastwards along the high street. So there we go. Have I ever done or thought of doing public history walks and talks and or casual strolls in the countryside where we can accompany you? Yeah, that is something that I have talked about, or thought about. I haven't actually done too much at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I guess it would be something to kind of bring some of these walks that I videoed to life, where we can just come along and take it easy. I mean, I try not to make any of them too challenging. I put a rating on the ones that I do on Ordnance Survey, but I wouldn't, on the flip side, I wouldn't say they're completely accessible, but maybe somewhere in between. So sometimes there might be a little bit of a climb. The one that stands out is, where was it? I started at Woldingham at Botley Hill Farm, and I went down through the Titsy Estate, lovely gentle walk down. then along the valley past the Greenwich Meridian. I don't know if you've seen that one. And then climb back up. And that climb up the hill, wow. Yeah, so that's something that I probably wouldn't do. One of the biggest challenges is finding somewhere to park that you can then do an easy kind of walking loop around, and it's not always that easy. I might have to start speaking to local farmers and see if I can have a word, get some parking arranged for that. History does have a habit of repeating itself. Have I heard of Super Chats? Some vloggers have the function to make a contribution whilst you're online and they use money to support the channel. Yes, now Super Chats should be on. I'm sure I've ticked the box that they are available. I don't know in practice, I suppose, because I'm this side of it. I don't know how they work. I've had people click the thanks button and make a donation that way. I've had people very kindly buy me a coffee or a number of coffees. That happened just last week, so it's very kind. And yeah, so it's just little things that can go into the ever rising costs. As I say, some of them I put on my website a kind of rough breakdown of costs, and a lot of them, software licenses and stuff like that, are annual and they tend to go up every year. But then there's other things like the membership of British Newspaper Archive, which is 70, 80 quid a year with a discount. Genealogist's website is over 100, Ancestry's over 100. So, and all of these are kind of various sources that I just use all the time. Forces War Records is another one that's not as expensive. So, yes, so Super Chats, I don't know. I could be cheeky and say, does anyone want to try a Super Chat? And then you'd have to pay me some money. I don't know I don't know how it works. I do see them on other live streams though, Julie, where people have put that up and it highlights it, and it somehow bumps it up to the top. So right, what else have we got? Altenburg Eagles. Hey Phil, have you looked at South Croydon's old Selsdon Road history off Sussex Road? Yes, I have looked at it. Have I done anything about it? Not yet. People say that you can still see part of the trackway there, but obviously each year it gets more and more overgrown. And I think I'm right in saying that I did that Coombe Road Station video a few months ago, and the line that went through from Coombe Road Station to Addiscombe, Bingham Road, that kind of area. If you go back the other way, south of Coombe Road, there's a bridge that goes over Crowham Road, and I think I'm right in saying that whilst the bridge is there, it doesn't carry anything except maybe old track and weeds. I looked on the satellite view on Apple Maps or Google Maps, and it kind of bore that out. So, but no, I haven't done that one yet. Maybe I need to feature that. Bus stop that goes up that hill near Titsy. I wouldn't want to walk that, especially in this weather. No. And that's the other thing. I thought sometimes maybe I could do some combination, leave the car at home, get a bus somewhere, because in New Addington you can get buses to sort of Tatsfield and that area. So I wondered about doing a bus somewhere from home and then walking back across country. And the reason I say that is the lanes over the back near Fickle's Hole and the White Bear, all that kind of area. If you look and plot paths on there, mapping like OS Maps, it always routes you on the road, which is a real pain. I mean, I've got high vis stuff, but there's no real public footpaths that cross the land, and I bet that land's wonderful. So short of going out and getting permission from various landowners and farmers, I kind of left that one going. The last gas burning lights in the station before closure. Wow, nice one. And yes, you can see the old platforms and see into the underground. Be good to see. Thanks. Right, I'll tell you what, because that has cropped up a lot, and it's it. So this is where we got, if I'm right in saying that, there's Spencer Road Halt, or Spencer Road area, Spencer Road and Selsdon Station. Just made a note. Selsdon, obviously, I know that the history to Selsdon Station is it never pretended to be Selsdon Station per se. It was Selsdon Road Station in South Croydon, and obviously the word road got dropped off at some point. I read an article and saw pictures a few years ago on that area that Altenburg Eagles just mentioned. Yeah, I mean, some of the big railway YouTubers, I can't think of his name, but there's a couple, and you'll probably tell me. I know that Jago Hazard does a lot of railway stuff, but there's another one whose name escapes me. But again, it probably comes to me. Yeah, I think they've covered those. Often I think, you do get a lot of areas that are covered by different people, but I guess we all do them in a different way, don't we? So I see a lot of vloggers where they don't really add much to the walk, whereas I like to try and tell a story. I love maps, which is why I use a lot of the maps and dissolves and all that sort of stuff. And I'm looking to bring in some other features as well as that at some point. Some sort of graphic imagery, anything that helps say, this is what we see now, this is how it looked then. Ideal world, someone somewhere or AI maybe would be able to do a mock-up of a building that stood there, realistic, and I could just kind of plonk it on. Time Team used to do things like that, but then they probably had a whole team and very good graphic designers and things. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, South Croydon. I felt I was kind of knocked out of step a bit from my personal plan on videos. I'm almost getting frustrated with myself for keep repeating some of the ones that I still have to do, but they will happen. It's like the water history, that's going to be broken down a bit. Water supply history. Only the other day something came up on one of the many Croydon Facebook sites about the Valve House up at Addington Hills. So I did a shameless plug of my video. But yes, it's all about being questioning, I think. How does our water supply get to our taps? And then you start looking in the history and, yeah, having a video would be good. That's where I come in. Nice one. Yes, I mean, the season for talks was done. That's good. So I'm doing, obviously, this time of year, yeah, you get out in the garden and go out on trips. I did say that last time round we had to organise some travel, and we've got a couple of short breaks in the diary. So Jeff Marshall, thank you very much, Jeff Marshall. And I think I'm right in saying, I don't know if Paul normally looks at these, Marguerite Rathbone, I did the interview video. I'm not sure of the exact lineage, but I think Jeff is related to Marguerite. So loved a video on Central Croydon now and then. Made me think of the beginning of a Terrier in June. Yeah, actually I discovered the other day, there's a guy called John Parkin on Facebook who runs a Chelsham Bus Garage Facebook group. And I saw the other day that he has a YouTube channel where he's done a lot of footage of the old 403s. I don't think there's any sound, but there's footage of old 403s on the route. So you can, you'd probably have to sort of slow it down a bit, but you can pick out some of, say, Wellesley Road with the previous office blocks were there before the current set. There were bits of South Croydon I think I saw the other day. So, yeah, I mean, it would be great to kind of get hold of some of that sometimes and just take elements of it. Just to, say, one regret, I wish I'd spent every year of my life doing photographs of my area and seeing how it changed, but I can't do anything about it now, and hopefully we can, hopefully something still turns up in people's attics or whatever somewhere. Oh yeah, the Fairfield, yes, before the theatre and my family on the field. It was, that picture of my mum, when I saw mum today, she's obviously quite old now and not too mobile. But that was Mum, a very young child in wartime, where she was covered in a silver foil dress, collecting for salvage. The recycling was very much necessary then. But yeah, Mum and Nan and Great Nan, and I think Mum's friend was there as well. But it saw the church that was now pulled down at East Croydon. So Fairfield Halls area was completely kind of open space. It was a fair field in the day. And think fair that you would bring and buy stuff to sell rather than fun fair. So yes, Croydon, I've done these annual videos to Croydon. Don't know what I'll do this year. I've done 5 now. It saddens me every time I go into Croydon. So yeah, we'll see. I've got a few months to decide. Like to see the inside of Kenley Treatment Works and how it operates. I wonder if they would let you in, especially by prior appointment, since you're interested in waterworks. Yeah, so I went to a talk 2 weeks ago. And again, my brain's gone because the name escapes me, but David Clayton. Hey, David Clayton has written a book on the history of Caterham Waterworks. The book is available for purchase at Caterham Library or via the Bourne Society. It was serialised in local history records over 3 episodes if you're a Bourne Society member. And yeah, David gave this talk. Fascinating story there. But I remember went to his house a couple of summers ago, and we were kind of nerding out on water supply engineering and things. And he's a retired engineer. He knows way more than I do. But he said that he did do just that. He got an appointment to go to Kenley Treatment Works. I think he just kind of rocked up and pressed the buzzer or something, and they let him in and have a look around. So that will be good. When I did the tour of Bow Beach Reservoir and Waterworks, we could only film in certain areas. Say film, take pictures with our phones or whatever. The final parts of the treatment process, either you couldn't physically see what was going on because it was all in these, well, they look like big canisters, and I can't remember the treatment details now, but anyway, either you just, there was nothing to see because it's all kind of piped and processed behind the scenes inside, or it was just kind of the final step before it goes into the supply, so they needed to have a level of security around it. But we did see a lot of the stuff where they're taking the water from the reservoir that comes from the River Eden, filtering out the fish and whatever else, desilting the water, loads of stuff that went into it before they could actually do the final treatments ready for it to go to supply, so chlorination and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I do wonder whether some of this is down to general security and possible bad actors who may want to get in and, you know, contaminate supply nowadays. Unfortunately, you have to think like that. Whereas when I first started doing the research for the Croydon water history, there were references to Croydon ratepayers, not all of them, but a selection, either applying or being invited to go and do a tour of the waterworks and the facilities. You paid for it as ratepayers, so you're entitled to see where your money was going. So, but those sort of things must have been knocked on the head some time ago. But David was telling me he's actually got a tour arranged for Beddington Farm sewage treatment. Excuse me, not long at my dinner. But he did the water supply at Kenley. There's huge concern there because they're connected up with the pump that's under Tesco's that used to house Purley Waterworks, and it pumps up to the reservoir at Caterham and other places for distribution by gravity. But yeah, he's done that bit, documented it, talked about the history, and the next bit was to go into, well, what happens when we flush the toilet or wastewater goes down the sink. So he was going to do a piece on water treatment from that perspective. So yeah, I don't know, I just find it fascinating. I don't know what I did then. Find it fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So anything else that, what have I done here? I'm still live, am I? I seem to press something and it did something, but yeah, hopefully I'm still on. Old buses, yeah, love the old buses. Yes, as I say, look up, if you're on Facebook, look up John Parkin. Chelsham Bus Garage is a site. He's the kind of administrator He's got quite a big membership, and he posts quite regularly pictures of the good old 403, 483, you know, Chelsham and Wallingham. Oh, there's some going in and out of the Wallingham Park Hospital stop. I mean, the stop was at the end of, or the entrance to Wallingham Park Hospital, so you see signs, but basically the big double-decker bus did a loop and then just pulled up outside the shelter and then went off. I think the bus still serves that area, probably a different route now. Let's have a look. I read there either is or was an open well near a pub in Godstone or South Godstone, or it might have been. They wanted to know if there are any other parts of the Bourne River that is exposed and maybe drinkable. Yeah, I'm drinkable. Yes, indeed. I'm not sure. I mean, the Bourne is obviously part of a larger river network linking up to ultimately the Wandle in Croydon and ultimately the Thames, I guess. So I've done bits on the river networks around here. I probably need to do a bit more. It's cropped up in the comments. I do feature the Beck in the West Wickham video that's in edit at the moment. Empty land on Godstone Road. You might have to remind me of that. Empty land on Godstone Road. There is a group about open springs. I mean, I think I've been to the Spring Park Spring at Sparrow's Den area. So yeah, please send me the link to the open springs group. I'd be interested in that. Used to get the 403 up Whiteleaf Hill to Caterham, one of the old RM double deckers. Yeah, was it the 453? One of them that went to Caterham on the hill. There was a 483. One of them went to Cheam, Wallington and Cheam. There was a green line 706 to Aylesbury from Chelsham. Could reminisce for hours about old buses. Part of the growing up. We've occasionally featured watchable TV shows in here, so feel free to put any good suggestions in. As I say, we're watching that Gold at the moment, probably going to finish that tonight. One I found quite funny was Death Valley, Timothy Spall, and quite a few Welsh cast members that you would have seen in various other TV shows that featured Welsh, such as Gavin and Stacey and the like. It was quite funny. Yeah, I think it probably was the 453. Google it to find it. So that will be the Open Springs group. 412, that's still around, isn't it? So that is that the one that goes to Riddlesdown? 412 and Selsdon. Turns around at Selsdon, I think, in the triangle outside the library, I believe. 409 or 411 to Purley for school. Yeah, all sorts of fours. Some of those routes haven't really changed too much. I guess they're always under review. I mean, in Forestdale area, we used to have the 357, 354. There's still a 353. It goes to Orpington. But yeah, good old buses. As I say, not much to video now. I've mentioned bus garages at Chelsham and Godstone when I've done the videos. Of course, when I made that Godstone video, when I was walking past what is now the sinkhole area, I had the camera facing me, and in some ways I was kind of wish I'd faced the other way. And if I was using my 360, I could have re-edited it and shown it a different way, but I think they're working on it. There was a guy on the news the other day saying end of December for Godstone to be hopefully open again, but he said he almost looked to camera and said there's a lot of assumptions in that date, so that will be something to keep an eye on. People have got used to bypassing it now, so yes. Anyway, I'm going to I can't do that. What I'm going to do, just in case anyone's missed it, I've just put a link in again. to my story. After the cup final, Crystal Palace emailed everybody and just said, "Has anyone got any stories?" And I felt I had a good story, so I put it in, sent it by email, and I got an email from them today saying we've published your story, and it's actually the first one of a number of different accounts of people. It scrolls quite a way down, but yeah, so nice little account. Another little memory, another little permanent reminder. The 434, a new route now. There was a recent article about it, going down a narrow, dangerous bend. Of course, one of the things that often happened was that the buses that came down Upper Selsdon Road, as it joins Selsdon Road, needed to turn into St Peter's Street rather than go down the next bridge, because it seems about once every 5 or 10 years a bus doesn't know that, or a driver doesn't know that, and it takes the roof of the bus off. My sister was badly shaken up once when that happened. She was on the top deck of the bus, thankfully sitting a few seats back. Cricket near St Anthony's, near Sainsbury's. Yeah, well, St Anthony's is Hamsey Green, Wentworth Way, but there would have been Wallingham Sports Club near, is that the nearest cricket pitch? Which is Church Road, Church Lane, that sort of area, Wallingham Sports Club. So that's probably where there's cricket going on. Yeah, what else have we got? Have I missed any comments here? Just check my phone 1 minute. No, I was expecting something. It's funny, I sometimes obviously get notified myself that I'm live when I would know such a thing. So, else. Okay. Yeah, I mean, any other suggestions, questions, comments, feedback, please let me know. This is very much just a kind of live. We'll just have a chat and then enjoy the rest of our evening. I won't do it live on an audio podcast like what I do normally. Lord Jeffrey Harrison has joined the chat. Thank you, Jeff. I remember going from Wallingham Park Hospital to Sutton. So that must be the Cheam service, because you go through Sutton to get to Cheam. Is that right? Oh, well, that was the other thing in these videos on. I should have made a note of the channel. I'll perhaps dig it out for the podcast at the end of the month. Remind me if I forget. But yeah, these videos of Cheshire Bus Garage also had the original West Croydon bus station. What do we call it? We called it a bus station, or it was more of a terminus. But you literally just had the kind of bit of pavement with a bus shelter and lots of bus stops. Whereas now there's a little bit more infrastructure there. You can buy a coffee and there might be some toilets or stuff like that there. The actual footprint of land that it sits on hasn't really changed very much. But yeah, Jeff, I realised that you sent me that film, and I realised I haven't done anything with that yet. So I must another note to self, because that was a good quality video, and that was taken from the lorry, wasn't it? With the beeping going on. So Jeff's video, floods. I'll put a thanks if I ever publish it. No, I'll mention it. I'll think what I can do with it. Yes. So what else do we have? Yeah, as I say, feel free to suggest anything. I'll probably go on for about another 5 minutes or so. I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to hold this live just for the sake of it. But it was a chance to say hello. Anthony, South Croydon bus station has not changed much over the years. It hasn't, has it? I've seen some photos where that was bombed out in World War II. It was quite horrendous. But no, I mean, it's, they are what they are, aren't they, these bus stations? They've probably done running repairs to roofs and stuff like that, but pretty much is as they've always been. Used to be a big event getting on a bus and going into Croydon in the 1960s. I think sadness is the only emotion I can really, or the main emotion for Croydon. It's not just Croydon though. I mean, I think, retail overall, we shop differently now, very much so. Weirdly, over a month when Marks and Spencer's couldn't do anything online and their website became a kind of brochure catalogue, it was quite good. I had to go and get some couple of things in Marks and old school shopping. Park the car, cup of coffee, tried stuff on, took it home. Great, I just say Croydon has just lost it, I think. And then you got somewhere like West Wickham, where you've got a lot of independent shops up there. Some are parts of chains, your Costas and Greggs and Savers, is it? Those sort of people. But there's still a lot of independents up there, which is quite good to see. But I think I would like to think a number of people who frequent the channel have probably got pretty good fond memories of Croydon back in the day. Kennards at Christmas, the swap shop. Well, I featured the swap shop area and Beano's, famous people born or lived around Croydon, Surrey. That came up in the last podcast, and that's probably because I then went off and talked about Peter Cushing, famous people. So I think it's a case of how I could. The research is probably quite easy actually, and you can verify things often with electoral roll records and family history type sources. But I will look into that. Croydon's got loads of famous connections. I will definitely give that some strong consideration when doing my research. Do you know about the open air former swimming bars in Purley? It's hidden. It's offered close on Higher Drive. Saw it in one of the Purley history walks done by a local Blue Badge guide. Okay, I didn't know about the only open air former swimming bars would be Purley Way rather than Purley. Offer close on Higher Drive. That makes me think there might be something on an old map, possibly. The grid maps being probably the most descriptive from about the late 40s to the 60s, I think they covered. I probably get the most value out of those maps than any other. So Ordnance Survey, but they're just referred to as grid maps. June Brown, I covered June Brown's house briefly. One of my early walk and talks with Graham, that was at South Croydon. So we had a little walk around there. So there's so many. Let's say we had an old union person live around the corner from where I live now. I think part of it is the material, how you can weave it into a story. So I think it would be a case of doing a walk that covers more than just that subject. Even if it's just kind of around a block, or I manufacture a walk around a block to pick out certain things. So there might be some other snippets of history there, plus one or two former houses of celebs. See it in person. Right. Okay. It's actually there. Right. Keir Starmer in Oxted. When he became Prime Minister last summer, the Bourne Society were consulted for information because they basically went online what local history society would cover the area that Sir Keir Starmer knew, brought up, whatever. So Roger Packham from Bourne Society was interviewed, and some very big newspaper broadsheet kind of articles were published about it. So Francis Rossi, Purley, I believe. Francis Rossi. Darren Brown, Grew up in Purley, went to Whitgift School. Yeah, there's loads. There are loads. So maybe a celebrity special. As I say, just think about how best I can weave it in. So, cool. Any other little points before we before I give you your evenings back? Always good to. I mean, I love the comments. As I say, I get some brilliant comments. There's some very keen fellow researchers out there, and subject experts, and it's great when so rather than, I don't pretend I know the answers, because I don't, but I always, pretty much every video, I'll ask a question. I did that on the West Wickham one that I just filmed, so because I want to know more, how can I tell the best story? So Blue Badge house in Purley that recently discovered on Google Maps, please let me know. Used to deliver milk to Francis Rossi. Now there's a claim to fame. And Malcolm Muggeridge lived in South Croydon. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's there was a composer in Woldingham as well, big composer, and I can't remember, was it Benjamin Britten? I don't know. We'll find out. I'll do some more digging on that. But again, it's like, I don't personally, I think if I just rocked up outside a house, walked up and down, it wouldn't add much. I'd rather do it. I mean, I could either do it as a sort of desktop voiceover video, but I do prefer to get out and about if I can. So yeah, Peter Cushing, we talked about that last time. Beautiful house up the top of St James's Road. And I guess that's one of the easier ones to observe, enjoy, because you could just, if you're coming from Sandsted Way, turn into St James's Road, pull over almost immediately on your left, and it's almost unmistakable. We've got Blue Badge, Peter Cushing's Art Deco house. Absolutely lovely property, and I'm a massive Art Deco fan anyway, so it kind of ticks all the boxes. Cool. St James Road, yeah, Peter Cushing, yeah. Titsy Estate owned by the King's cousins. Well, so it's the Lewson Gore, which is pronounced Leveson Gower, are the family that last owned it. I'd have to remind myself of the ownership, but it goes back to the Gresham originally, and very wealthy landowner. So these all connected. I think that when we did one of those, guided tour things there, fascinating actually. No photos allowed. They said the insurers don't like it, but they said that when he owned the land, when Gresham lived there, he could basically go from Titsy Place to central London using land that he owned. He owned every single parcel of land all the way up. So yes, a very wealthy person. Carrie Mulligan went to Woldingham School. Couple in Selhurst and South Norwood. I'll have to speak to John Hickman about South Norwood. I know he does a lot of stuff there for CNHSS. Adrian Bolt, brilliant, thank you. I thought it was one of those big names, so excellent. So again, just sort of weaving things together. Cool. Yeah, Ronnie Corbett, of course. How can we forget Ronnie Corbett? Just down the road. So, I will say thank you once again, and I think I've typed it correctly. Yeah, thanks very much, guys. I say, I just thought, well, I'll, a tester. How many people are around? And that's the first part. Second part, are they willing to jump on and have a little chat? So you did, and thank you very much. I will probably, if you pencil in Monday the 30th of June, 2 weeks yesterday, that's when I'll do the podcast. I mean, I'll do the usual kind of link and post and all that sort of stuff. So that will be scheduled soon, and then we can get together then on a slightly more formal basis. So yeah, so thank you very much. And as I always say, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Oh, yes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.